Hello everybody, my name is Beto Arguelles and this is my reflection video. So I just wanted to make this video to talk about how I was really impacted by this entire project. I just wanted to talk about what I've learned, and yeah. So it all started when I was in Mexico. Actually, it was the summer before sophomore year this year, and I knew I had to, create or have an idea of what my topic was going to be for my personal project. And I was in Matamoros, Tamaulipas, with my family in my grandma's house. And the first thing that came to mind was this house of my grandfather was something that had to do with growing plants, since that's what he does. He's a rancher. He goes to his ranch every day. He still does, even though he's like 80 years old. So I was kind of inspired by that and decided to do something that's kind of related to that. And when I made this idea, it wasn't really much. The whole thing was grow plants and use these plants to make salsas, but there wasn't enough base to that, it wasn't really, it wasn't enough, right? So I had to change the ideas, and that's when I came up with making some videos, a better way to express this part of my culture. And then while making that up, making up the idea of doing videos, I thought about salsas, which is another important part to my culture or Mexican tradition. So I thought I could put both of the things together and make a new experience based off of that. Alright, again, so this was during the summer, so I wasn't really sure what to do. So I started with, going on YouTube, searching up the basic stuff about gardening. Went to websites, try to find out what I should, or how to set up a garden, and I started off with pots. Currently I only have 4 plants, and every day I've been able to take pictures of them, water them. I'll show you some pictures of them right now as I'm talking, but I was able to grow tomatoes, jalapenos, Tabasco plants, and cilantro. So this was a very difficult, or it wasn't that difficult, but I did have quite a bit of trouble at the beginning, kind of getting the plants to start off and getting them to really be sustainable. It took me a while to know that they weren't gonna die the next day. There were some days where I thought it was over, where there was no point to growing these plants anymore because they're dead. I can't do much about them. But if I look at them now, although some of the plants did fail, in the end we had the tomato plant, which grew a bunch. It has tomatoes right now. They haven't fully ripened, but we have that. And then we have the Tabasco plants, which we used for one of our salsas, which was very useful. That was also very successful. But again, that was a very important part to my project. Since I was in quarantine, I actually had a lot of time to research all of this and I kind of get involved with gardening as a subject. So I really appreciate that this project has brought me into, or has given me another hobby to focus on or to work on. So let's move on from that point. After starting school, we kind of had to work out what ideas we wanted. We had to choose a concrete idea. And after talking to some people, talking to my mentor and family, I was able to figure out that the thing I wanted to do definitely wouldn't involve salsa, and it was making these YouTube videos, of course. I still didn't really have a layout of how I wanted the videos to be back then. It really took me a while to figure out specifically what I wanted. And then of course, while I had to deal with all this personal project stuff, at the same time I had to kind of deal with school as well, other than just my personal project. I'm also in Boy Scouts and in swimming, so it was kind of tough to keep up with everything. And through this personal project, I've learned to, I guess, be more balanced. That is one of the IB attributes that we've been taught over the past 2 years, and I really think that has improved my ability to be balanced. I've been able to work on my personal project, although it has been kind of difficult. On the weekends, I'd do the recordings. During the week, I'd try to edit a little bit, or I'd try to start adding to the recipe sheet, or create the survey, or create these thumbnails, start editing. It was a long process, but very fun. Along the way, one thing I wanted to, I guess, to make a connection to is family, I guess you could say, it could be related to the growing of these plants, because as the plants all grow differently, like you don't know how it's gonna end up. As long as you nurture it well and kind of add things to it, add the correct fertilizer, have the correct soil, put water at the correct time of the day, on the correct day, have it in enough sunlight, having the temperature be correct for these plants. That is the same thing that is applied, or the same process that is applied to a growing family. You really have to put your mind to it. You have to focus on nurturing these relationships. And I really think the videos I made kind of did nurture these relationships, since we were able to get together as a family and have our carne asadas after making these videos. So I really think this whole project has kind of influenced me in the way that I think I'm a little bit closer to my family. Like I said, Spanish was my first language, but it is pretty choppy, as you guys can see in the videos. So I always thought that was kind of a disconnect from me and my family, but I really see that that's not really the case. It's just kind of a small little barrier that I have to worry about sometimes. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about that, the connection with plants and a growing family, and how they all grow differently, but at the same time, if you focus enough, it does grow correctly. I mean, there were times when I was growing these plants that like I said before, I thought they were gonna die. I thought there was no point. Why do I even water them anymore? Like, they got infected with this weird disease that I have no idea what it's about. And that's the fun. I don't know. That's the fun part of growing something. You got to deal with the ups and downs, and that really is. I think that was a great lesson for me, at least. Next, I wanted to talk about my grandfather. I think he was a great inspiration for me, at least for this, because he's like I said, he was a rancher. I'll show you some pictures of his right now. And yeah, he's a hard worker. I think he only went up to the 6th grade, and yet he's able to provide so much for my family and help out so much. He's such a nice person. So I'm thank you to my grandfather. I wish I could say this in Spanish so he could see this, but yeah, thank you so much. A great inspiration. It's what really got me started into this whole starting off with the plants and then moving on to the salsas. I think that's pretty much it. That's all I wanted to talk about. My experience, what I learned, how it impacted me, the whole process of it, how I came up with the idea, how it went throughout the school year, and all of that. The last thing I wanted to talk about was, the whole point of this project which was to answer, at least for me, it's related to the global context of personal and cultural expression. The question being, what is the purpose of creative expression? And there's many answers to that. There could be several answers, but I guess for me it could be I guess exploring more of yourself, exploring your culture, not only expressing your culture but exploring it as well, because I learned a lot of things that I wouldn't have known if I didn't do this. Like I said in the first video, I didn't even know how to make. I didn't have the slightest idea on how to make a salsa, and I didn't have the slightest idea of the correct pH temperature for soil for growing tomatoes, So this was a really fun ride, and I'm happy to say that thank you guys for, I guess, joining me in this ordeal, on this journey, on this trek. And again, thank you for watching these videos. I hope you guys enjoyed the salsas, and goodbye.